listen up. Y'all, it's the queen of automation, Meghan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Chronically Automated, the show that talks about smart systems for messy realities. I'm your host, Meghan Donnelly.
And I'm your co-host, Anthony Labosco. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your face when I say that. You're so funny.
I don't know why. So, Anthony, we have to talk about this because we do it every time, and you guys are probably laughing at us. Every time, there's like a little bit of a delay between when I say, like, I'm your host, and then Anthony. And so, like, we've thought about even pre-recording that, but then it wouldn't be as funny. So now we're just going to we're going to go with it. But it's so funny because he waits for me, or I wait for him. So I'm like, I'm waiting. Anyway, all right, we have to move on.
I'm a polite man, you know.
We'll move on. We'll move on from it. But it's very funny. So if it's not awkward, then you can ignore everything we just said. If it is, let us know if you think it's funny too, because we think it's funny. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. And that leads us into today's discussion because that is my brain today. We are talking about, I don't even remember how I described it.
Meghan,
default to freeze.
How is your day going today? What's happening?
We're talking today about like when your nervous system hijacks your tech stack and hijacks the most important tech stack in your life is your brain and your mental health, right? Like that's a system. And when your brain has decided to just hack everything and take over, and that's my day today. So I woke up this morning. I'm very extra hyper, as you can tell today, because I am on Claritin-D and Sudafed and coffee, and I am like, woo, I got this. So
let me just do this. Megan's coffee is not your regular coffee. Meghan, what kind of coffee do you drink again?
Like the Death by Coffee, and it's espresso. Right. It's not actually coffee, it's espresso, and it's like 5 times the amount of caffeine as like a normal cup. So
yeah, it's powerful stuff. Anyway,
by now I should stop drinking it because it's, after 2:00 in the afternoon where I am, and whatever. But I won't, of course, because today my body has hijacked my brain, and we wanted to talk about like when do you listen to your body and take a mental health day or hours, a nap, whatever, like when do you power through? And so for me, like today, I'm super brain foggy. My team is laughing at me. Anthony was just laughing at me a few minutes ago because I was telling him the story of my morning, and it's funny. And the reason that I'm okay with it is because I laugh at myself, and it's funny. So I don't care if people are, laughing at it because it is super funny. Because what I did this morning is I rolled over and I woke up all like sinusy and sore throat and itchy, and like I'm like, oh my god. So the weather dropped drastically here. It's been in the 90s and now it's like in the 50s, which like it's still in the 50s, so that's good, but it's been getting down in the 40s at night. So now my allergies are all over the place. I woke up this morning all like gross. So what did I do? I'm like, okay, well, this is just a cold, right? Like this is just a cold and allergy. So I got up and I've got Claritin and I've got Sudafed and I've got coffee and I've got all these things in my system. And so I'm a total loopy loop head. Yeah, see? I'm totally loopy. Perfect. I've decided that I'm just pushing through today because for me, like a cold, come on. A cold and allergies is thing that's year round. It happens all the time. Like I can give myself some medicine. I might talk a little funny and be a little goofy, but I can still accomplish what I need to accomplish. So for me, that's my, like, I can do it, There's no migraine associated. I don't know. What do you think? Like, when do you let your body, obviously for you, it's even more extreme, right? Like, when do you let your body determine whether you're going to get out of bed and like make the effort, or if you're just like, nope, systems you take over. I'm taking a mental health day, like sleep. I need to not do this right now.
Yeah. I mean, so thing with me is that I always get out of bed, no matter what. I always get out, go and work out and do my thing. However, to your point, okay, after I get off on my Peloton or whatever it is that I do, then you start to, maybe I feel like Meghan, maybe I even feel worse, like, because I do suffer from sinuses and things like that. And that actually, believe it or not, that might add to some of my pain, which means if I have pain, I have to take more of my carbamazepine, which is an epilepsy medicine. And when I do take that to reduce the pain, it makes me tired and somewhat loopy sometimes. So to your point, like you might be, yours is exactly what I think, and I manufacture it. So it's kind of like, in a sense, it always comes at the worst time, right? Right when it's like, no, it's not. It's coming on a day when I have nothing to do. This is great. I'll just hang out. No,
never.
It comes when you're in the middle of like a million different things. So, in that respect, it's unfortunately sometimes you have to push through it. Now, this is what I wanted to say. I want to ask you this too. I feel that first of all, I have balance in my life, and I'm sure that in some cases you do. We all try and have balance, right? I'm not saying that we're perfect.
100%. Yeah.
But we're not pushing through stuff every day. So we're, in a sense, we're kind of like, sleeping well, maybe for a while, and then kind of building up to it. Like, oh shit, bad day. Okay, maybe bad couple of days. Yeah. Fine. Your body can kind of adjust to it, hopefully. And I don't know. What do you think of that? Like, just living a good life and then having bad days too. It reminds you that, look, you're not perfect and you still have your that's what it does for me. It reminds me of that.
Yeah. And I think, having all of the systems and processes and everything in place, I could very easily just kind of go back to bed right now and not do this. But I have to pick and choose my battles, right? And so it is a balance, because I am somebody who, I haven't in a very long time, knock on wood, suffers from like really bad migraines, nausea type migraines and all of the weird like trails, and can't leave a dark room type of migraines. So they used to be really bad. So I save up for like those types of days, or like the flu and like stuff like that. Like it gets negative 20 degrees here in the winter. I live in a giant petri dish. I live with 3 kids and a dog. Like stuff is coming and going all the time. So I try to like pick and choose my battles and like pick and choose. For me, I just sound a little funny. I'm a little froggy, and like I said, I'm a little loopy. Not quite there. My reaction time to like responding to messages is a little bit longer than normal, because I actually have to like reread what people are writing and like think about what I'm saying so that I don't just write random shit. But I think you have to have balance in your life. And the only way to do that, the only way to give balance to your life, both personal and, again, one life, is to have good systems and processes in place. And I have systems and processes in place that affect my personal stuff and the kids' stuff, and as well as like anything work related. So I think that is a huge thing that people need to realize, is that when you're doing systems and processes to better your life and create this lifestyle that works for you, you have to also include all of the personal parts of your life. Because if you don't, it's not going to work. It's not going to gel, right? You can't only focus on the work stuff and then just completely ignore personal stuff, because then your calendars won't mix up. Like it's a hot mess. And unless you have somebody sitting there managing your calendars, which a lot of us don't. Yeah, some of us have virtual assist or, executive assistants that do that, right? That handle the calendars and the emails and all of that stuff for us. Kudos to you guys. That's awesome. But if you don't, there are ways to automate that so that it's a little less painful, right? I am somebody that gives poor Andrea. She's amazing. And I will give her or someone on my team the entire school calendar for the year, and have them put all what are those called? Those in-service days or whatever, teacher in-service day. I have them put all of those on the calendar, because it seems like there's so many of them. Like they have Friday off. Well, why do you have Friday off? And I never remember.
You bring up a great point, Meghan, because I know you will agree with it, because you've told me this before, but even kind of taking a step back from everything too, before we even had systems or anything like that, do you think it's so important to really know yourself, know your limitations, know your boundaries, and really build around that? And do you feel, and I know you do, that you built around those? And I'm sure that you're always modifying it too. But
Yep.
it still sucks to be, not feel
It
great.
does. It totally does, but 100%. So again, I've known for a really long time, 16 years old. So I've known way longer than a lot of adults who are in the entrepreneur world or even just in their careers and working. And because we see it all the time, like on a daily basis, people who come into our network, mine and Anthony's and DMC's and all the places and LinkedIn, more and more adults are being diagnosed with ADHD. Like it's happening like rapidly, or autism, and it's because they're starting to learn more and educate themselves more and read more and listen to people like myself more. And the hard part is they're starting, from ground zero in their late 30s, early 40s. Whereas I started from ground zero in my 20s, right? So my 20s was a shit show, and it was like this big giant experimentation because I was having babies and working and like trying to figure out how to manage my ADHD as a parent and in the career, in my career. And it was a hot mess until I figured out how to do all of this and realized that, well, this is never going away. The ADHD will never just disappear.
Yeah.
So I have to choose, do I medicate myself? Yes or no? Do I use like vitamin? Like, do I go out the alternative route? And that's problem number one that you have to solve for yourself. No one else can do it for you. I am very anti class 1 narcotic, right? And that came from my sons also having ADHD, right? And the school pushing like Ritalin and Adderall and like pushing it down our throats as parents. Like they have to. And not gonna lie, we tried it. We did. We tried it with our oldest son. And he was either a zombie or he was super angry and always like in rage mode. And it was awful.
Wow.
And I ripped him off of that. And so then at that point in my 20s, I was like, well, I can't very well even go down that road if I'm not going to, if I say that it's not good for my kids, it's not good for me either. So that's when I really went into systems and processes and technology and automations and notifications and alternative medicines and like vitamins and therapy and like all of that kind of stuff. Because if I'm not going to let them use that for my kids, I should follow the same methodology, right? Like a mindset or whatever. And it took a really, really long time. So if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out to me, because I would say it took a good 10 years. It was until my early 30s that I really figured it out and really figured out what worked and didn't work and really started listening to my body and would know when, like a day like today where, okay, this is allergies and a cold. You can do this. You could push through, take some extra vitamin C, go through. I did take vitamin C, by this way. I did do that too. It did take some good stuff, not just bad stuff to make me loopy. Versus the days where there are days when there's nothing wrong with me other than the fact that my ADHD, my mental state is foobarred, right? I'll wake up and know, mentally, there's no way I'm showing up.
And that's the thing too, right? I mean, it's unpredictable. And that's what everyone really needs to understand. Regardless of whether you have autoimmune, ADHD, I mean,
or you're just a normal human.
I do, yeah. I mean, I do think I have some form of ADHD with the MS and with the autoimmune, but it's a whole different story. But the point is that you, out of nowhere, this stuff can happen. When you're feeling pretty good, then all of a sudden you're like, damn. So that coming back to building the systems and everything like that, when you have taken a very long time to get to know yourself, right? I mean, since you were 16. And, that obviously when you build processes and everything like that, I mean, you're doing it for others, but then all of a sudden you're kind of learning as you get older and stuff like that with your kids and everything. You're like, wow, okay, so I have this in my life. I have to do this. I have to do that. But I'm also running a business and I'm extremely ambitious and I have so many things going on. Oh, by the way, I build processes and I kind of do this stuff. So I'll do this for myself to make it awesome. But you know what? You still have bad days, and bad days. Look,
You know what I call them?
It reminds us.
Yeah, you know what I call them? I call them rescue routines.
Hmm.
So if you can build in like safety prompts, I put them in air quotes, but like I have all these like weird words. I should probably like bottle this shit up and sell it, but whatever. I call them rescue routines where they're like, how would you describe it? Like gentle re-entry automations and stuff like that that get people back into the flow if I'm not sitting at my desk, right? And or AI conversation bots that have the conversation for me. So it's strange, you know, it's just a strange world we live in right now. AI is very scary to a lot of people, and they're feeling very kind of like displaced, and they're feeling like it's going to take their jobs and stuff like that. And I'm coming at it from a completely different world. I'm all in. Like I need it to answer questions. I need it to be my bot in my brain when I'm not there, because my team is actually, you know, they work 100% on our customers' stuff. Like they work on Anthony's stuff and so they're actually in project mode working. So there are times when that conversation bot, when it's turned on, that means everybody else in my world is busy. And that conversation bot is taking over and having a conversation that I can't have right now. And now when I talk about rescue routines or like safety prompts, what that means is we have keywords and triggers built into the conversation bot that as soon as that keyword is said anywhere in the conversation, I immediately get a text message. Because that is like somebody can't accept payments.
Wow.
Like there are those emergency there are emergency prompts that need to happen that are like somebody's shit's broken and I have to go, like they can't take payments or something like that, right? Like there are emergency things that have to happen, and that immediately goes to a team member. Now, I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again, and I want everybody to really listen, because this is going to be a really hard thing for a lot of people to hear. No one cares. Okay? I know everyone thinks that their job and their product and their service and their thing that they are working on is the most important thing in the entire world. Awesome. That's what makes you great. And that's what makes you able to sell it. But no one cares. If you are out of the office for 24 hours, it will be fine. Your shit's not going to break. If you are gone for a week, you will be fine. Your audience will forgive you. Your shit's not going to break. Like,
that's a very
you're not solving world peace.
Yeah, that is an unbelievable perspective. And, you know, that's something some of us, including myself, at some point, and I am not heavily medicated on like antidepressants or anything like that. I'm not. But I'm just saying beforehand, before I actually dealt with my anxiety and things like that too, I would kind of think that was the case. Like I was convinced that was the case. Like, oh my God, people are all kind of looking at me. But you know, it's a whole different if
mindset. Your business,
no one really cares. And if they do, then
maybe
you need to do something different.
Unless you're a doctor. Okay, if I need surgery and my doctor is not there, I might have an issue. Like, you scheduled surgery for me today. I feel like you should be there because, you know, that's a big deal. You know, obviously there are certain professions like that matter. Like, no one else can just replace you in as a surgical, you know, whatever, those things. But the rest of us, you know, no one cares. And if you start thinking about your business that way, in the perspective of you don't need to be the guy, the girl, like you don't need to be 100% in charge of every single thing that's going on, your business is going to grow so much faster because you stop worrying about it. You stop stressing about it. You stop thinking like your business can't run without you. If your business truly can't run without you, then you have a whole nother, like a whole different problem that we can't fix, right?
Totally,
like that's a problem, and you need to work on that first, because that's a big, like, I say we, but anyone, you can't automate what's already broken. Right. So when you're throwing on it, the stuff that Anthony and I are talking about, like that next level of automation and streamlining and systems and processes, that's on things that are already established and already like ready to go. Like you already have a product or service that people want to buy and they're ready to go. And And then you kind of just turn up the faucet, right?
But Meghan, now I want to get back to, the original discussion in this, which is like, when is it
Yeah.
okay to, continue to move forward and just keep going on? Like, and obviously not asking you for permission, but just in
Right.
general, like, what's your strategy on that? What's your philosophy on that?
So for me, I probably push myself a little bit harder than most people, and I have for a long time, and sometimes I'll just crash, which is bad. So if you're pushing yourself so hard where let's be real. We can all tell mentally and physically when our bodies are going to crash. And if you say that you can't, I'm sorry, you're lying. You are lying. All right. I've been in this body for 46 years. Are you seriously telling me that I can't? Of course I can sense when I'm getting sick. Of course I can sense when it's going to crash. And of course I can sense when I need a nap. Same thing with you. And it's not all about the medication that we're taking. So you have to understand your limitations, right? Like I know, like with allergies, all right? I know that it makes me a little loopy and it takes me a little bit longer, but I know after years of experience of what I can push through and what I can't push through. So it's going to take a little while for you to like figure it out. But to me, like a cold is not something that I'm going to stop work for. It's just not. It's never going to be that way. Unless it's so bad where I have a fever, if I have a fever, that's an instant, like, no, you're not working through that. Like that is an instant, the laptop does not get open, because think about it. And the doctors will tell you, if you have an actual fever, there's an infection in your body somewhere. Right? It doesn't matter if it's sinus infection or whatever, but that is an immediate, you do not need to be in front of a screen. Okay. First of all, we all know the effects of being in front of a screen all the time, which is why I have glasses, which is probably why Anthony has glasses. I'm blind as a bat. My eyes get worse and worse every day as I get older because I'm always in front of a screen. So if I have a fever, my phone, the only thing my phone is used for is probably like a telehealth call. And I check all the other symptoms, but I do not open my laptop. I do not even turn on the TV because the screen is not going to help me feel any better.
So in that case, how is that, like, how does business, just generally speaking, for let's say the normal person that doesn't have that level of automation, or maybe comes to us and basically wants, or even me, because I'm going to get to that point, Meghan, where I'm going to build in automation and things like that. But what do you do in the meantime when you don't have that?
Yeah. First things first, you need to worry about screw new leads, screw new business. Sorry. I'm just saying, like, if you're sick, you're sick. You have to and everyone should be focused on retention in current customers more than getting new customers at the end of the day anyway. Because if your current customers are unhappy and they're going to go out into the world, you should be focused on retention in current customers first and foremost, always, always, always. They should be your top priority. At the beginning of your workday, at the end of your workday, on the week, they're always their top priority. It's not that you shouldn't seek new leads, but the current ones should be your most. In this case, you shoot them all a message and be human and be real, right? Especially if you're like service-based business or you're a coach or something like that. Reschedule all your meetings. Shoot everyone a message that says, hey, I'm under the weather. I'll be back within 24 hours, whatever. Be real. You don't have to obviously go 100% into what's happening, but
too much information. No.
Yes. You don't need to go you don't need to give them your life story, but you do need to give them a heads up of what's happening. And this is, like I said, this is just current customers. And then you turn off all of your lead gen stuff, or you have someone on your team or somebody do it for you. You just turn it off. Because like I said, 24, 48 hours, even a week of not having leads come in shouldn't break your business. And if it does, like I said, that's a whole nother problem. If you...
And you need an expert in to help you out.
Then you need that's a little bit different. But you should be able to get to the point in your business where the leads that do come in, have a window of time where if you're off for 24 or 48 hours with a sick bug, it's not gonna wreck your business.
Yeah.
And for example, like we have automations in place. Somebody signs up for a DMC trial. The trial is 14 days long. There's 7 days worth of emails with actual live training videos in every single email that take care of like that first 7 days. And even if they book they decided that they want to do like an onboarding call with us instead of kind of go through that whole thing. The onboarding call is a round robin call. Anthony takes. It's Anthony and I both on them, right? So the onboarding call, and eventually it's not just going to be Anthony right now, but we're going to have somebody else. You should always have a backup. You always have to have a backup. Always.
Yeah, and I think the moral of the story, right, comes down to the fact that I live by this every single day. And I know Meghan does, and everyone that has some challenges or maybe doesn't. But overall, without a healthy me, everything goes to shit.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter. You can have the best processes and everything, but if I'm pushing myself too hard and through some things, and that's going to set me back, a long time, that's not going to work. So I think it really comes down to, I'll push through this. I mean, I kind of feel it, but really what it comes down to, like you said, we know our bodies. We know when we can push. We know when we can. And you know what? It just comes down to
listen to them.
Yeah, you can have all the automation that you want, but being honest with your clients, stakeholders, team members, whoever it is, take that time and and look, who knows? That could be automated too. Meg, I'll leave it up to you, but clearly, let's say if you're so like out of it and stuff, like let's just say my pain is so bad I can't even talk. Boom, maybe I press a button, and everyone knows that. Look,
AI bot turns on. Yeah.
Right.
So
anyway,
these are some of the things where AI becomes a help and not a hindrance, right? Like you can turn on a voice AI agent. That's exactly what I do. Is I turn on an agent that continues the conversation, and then books a call. Right. Now, obviously, if those calls are booked on a day when, there are always going to be exceptions to the rule. But for Anthony, who's a sales guy, he can actually just turn on his agent, and the calls will come in. If somebody's calling him, and the agent will just say, hey, Anthony's not available right now. Let me take a message and I'll take some notes. The AI bot takes the message, takes the notes, puts them into the contacts account, and then Anthony can come back and read. He can see who's called. He can see if a message was left. He can see all of that. And these people can leave their details, their contact information or whatever. They can the agent can book a call with them. And it sounds 100% like a real human. And I know that freaks people out, but you know what?
I love this line, and maybe it's a tagline, who knows, but technology levels the playing field. And that's really what it comes down to. And, it doesn't matter whether you have an incurable disease or whatever it is, things come up in life. I can't even go into everything, but things come up. So build the system and build something, but most importantly, you could have the most robust system in the world. But if you know it's too much for you, maybe have that, have that red button or something to,
It's great because for all of you who are, freaked out about the automations and the AI bots and all of this stuff, for those let me just kind of break it down. It's still controlled by humans. You still have to build it. You still have to write the prompts. You still have to design it. You still have to integrate it. Integrate the rescue. Integrate the safety checks. Integrate the ability to turn it on and off and use it when you want to use it. That's the key to using AI to save you and help save your systems and help you versus just building AI to build AI or building AI that's going to, you control how you build it and how you integrate it into your world. 100%. Don't build it if you're not going to use it. Don't build it if it's doing shit you don't want it to do. And by all means, don't put it into your business or integrate it into your systems and processes if you can't control whether it's on or off. It's really that simple.
Yeah, and just know your limitations, know when you can push hard, know when you can't, and know how to actually build those systems and everything where, if you can't get out of bed, then you can go on your app on your phone and basically, boom, activate something and get it done. So
that's the wrap, guys. Like, it is know your body, know your health, know your mental well-being, build the systems around your health and your mental well-being so that they pick up when you can't. We've talked about this for weeks now. Your mental health and just your health and like not just mental, but your whole body, your health is the most important system that you have. So if it is broken, nothing else is going to function properly. Whether you work for somebody else, whether you work for yourself, whether you're ADHD or not, or neurodiverse or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. You have no energy. You can't get anything done. That's it. If you want more tips or you know where to find Anthony and I, ask us. We'll give you ideas. We'll help you. Like, we're all in this together. Anybody who's neurodiverse or even anybody who's not, or they think, or if you're on the fence, if you think you might be or something like that, reach out. Reach out and have a conversation, because it's really hard to go through it alone, and you're not alone. You're not. So
there are a lot of us that are out there that are actually thriving, doing it well, and living our best life the way that we can.
Yep. So remember, guys, technology, operations, systems, all of this stuff's only good when it works. And the most important system of all is your health and mental well-being and state of mind. So take care of that first, and everything else will fall into place. That's all we got today. Bye, everybody. See you next week.